All right, welcome back. We're looking at adding a couple more boxes today to our game. The boxes we have so far are the cardboard boxes and the falling cardboard box, and we also have the wood box and the falling wood box. But we have two other kind of types of boxes. We have metal boxes, and we also have stone boxes. So let's make the sprites for those. So again, I just right-click on sprites and I say Create Sprite. And I'll go out to our shared folder to get our sprites. So I say Import. And it's in our Classes folder under Game Design, Lazarus. And I like to switch this so I can actually see the pictures. So I switch this to medium icons. I can see them. And I want to grab the one that looks like a metal. It's like a wood box with metal reinforcements or something. Now you got to be careful here because there is a little bit that is supposed to be transparent. See how the kind of awful green color? That's supposed to be the transparent color. Well, we have to go in and edit that to make it actually transparent. A lot of these sprites were made before transparent colors were a thing. So now they're a thing. So we have to accommodate for that. So just go in here and grab, edit the sprite and go in here and grab the color removal tool and just click on the green, and that will just allow some of the background to show through this slide. Okay, so we've got our sprite set up. Let's get the other sprite. We want to rename the sprite though as well. I'm seeing a lot of people not taking the time to rename things, and it's almost impossible to debug if you don't give these things a name. Object 0 doesn't mean anything to me. If you need my help, I think in future I'll say, well, I'll help you as long as you rename everything. So please use these names. It's too hard to debug otherwise. So we're going to call this one sprite SPR_metal box. Box. Can't type today. Okay, so there we go. We've got that one. And then I'll create another sprite for the stone box, the sprite stone, SPR_stone box. Edit the image. And we have to import it first. Now, it doesn't have any transparent things showing through, so we don't really need to edit it. So there's our box. And now we have all our sprite pictures for all our boxes. That's good. Next thing we need to create is the, let's go with the the stationary metal box. And all these, the stationary metal box needs to do is just exist. It doesn't really do anything. It just sits there. So this is metal, obj_metal box. And we're going to make it solid. And then this is important too. You also want to make it a child. So click on Parent. Set the parent to Object Wall, which is surprising. We want to make it into a wall. So when Lazarus looks at it, it'll see a wall instead of a box. And we'll jump on top of it. Okay. And that's all you got to do with metal box. The other one is the stone box. So let's do that. Okay, so object stone_box. Stone. I can't type. We'll use our stone sprite. And again, you want to make sure to set the parent. So click on Parent. And then choose the object. Which object do we want? We want the wall to be our parent. Okay. Make that solid too. So now we have our full complement of all our stationary objects. But before we make them stationary, we have to create falling versions of them first. Okay. So let's look at that. So let's create the falling metal object. In fact, just to save time, why don't we take the falling wood one, and we're just going to modify that one. So let's right-click on that and say duplicate. I like doing this because it forces me to think of all the things I need to think about. And I don't forget anything. So I say duplicate. So we're just making a duplicate object. So what I did is I made a copy of the wood box. I just duplicated it. And I'm going to call this falling metal. Obviously, this is the wrong sprite, though. So we'll change it to the metal sprite. But by duplicating it, it does remind me I need to worry about all these things. The create event, basically, we just set the direction and go down. That's the same for all of them. So we don't have to do anything special there. What should happen when it hits a cardboard box? Well, metal boxes should destroy the cardboard box. And this one is destroying other, right? You check it and it says other. So we don't have to change that one either. What should happen when it hits a wall? Well, here we have to be careful because we need it to stop it from moving, but we don't want to change it to a wood box. We want to change it into a metal box, a stationary metal box. So make sure you're careful here and say, where's my metal box? I have it here, but I forgot to select the sprite. So I have to go back and do that. So again, on my object metal box, I forgot to choose the sprite. Let me go back and do that. Okay. So again, we're on falling metal. Just make sure that you, when it hits a wall, you stop moving. And the way you stop moving is just set the speed to 0 and then change it to a metal box. But we have this other type of box. We have the wood box that this metal box is supposed to destroy. So we need to add a collision event between the falling metal box and the stationary wood box. So let's do that. So we say we need to do the collision. So collision between falling metal and the stationary wood one, this one. And what do we want to happen when a falling metal box hits a stationary wood box? Well, we want the wood box to get destroyed. So again, what we're doing is destroy instance. But we don't want to destroy the instance of ourselves, which is the falling metal box. We want to destroy instance of other, the thing we crashed into. Okay? Okay, so that's good. And then the only other falling type of box we need is the falling, well, I'm going to change this name just to be consistent. So I'm going to go back there. Falling metal underscore box. Because I do want these names to be consistent with each other. You see the other ones are called falling card box, falling wood box. And it updates it over here. So we're just trying to keep the names all the same. But we'll start with that again. Just so we don't forget anything, I want to duplicate that one as well. So I right-click and I say duplicate. I'm duplicating the falling metal box. And this will become our falling stone box. Right? So instead of metal, we'll say stone. And get rid of the 1. And again, of course, we've got to change the sprite to the stone sprite. So all of these are valid for the stone box. It should destroy the cardboard box, which it does. The walls, it should just stop and change. Well, it shouldn't change itself into a metal box. it should change itself into a stone box, right? Okay? If it hits the wood box, it should destroy the other thing, which it does. But then we also have to take into account the metal box. So we need to add a collision between the falling stone box and the metal box. So let's do that. So falling stone with metal. We don't have that one yet. Stationary metal box. What should happen there? Well, it should destroy it, right? Because the stone is heavier, I guess, than the metal. So again, we just destroy the instance. We don't want to destroy ourselves, but we do want to destroy the other thing. Okay? So again, now we have all of those covered. One thing I'd like to mention is if you go out to our classes folder, there's this web page I put out there, and I call this the Squish Chart. And the Lazarus Squish Chart is, I like hitting F5 over and over again because Lazarus gets squished. But here it shows you for these falling types, what happens when it hits these stationary types. So when a stone box, falling stone box hits a stationary stone box, it stops. But if a falling stone box hits a metal box or a wood box or a cardboard box, it squishes those. If the stone block hits a wall, then it stops. And then if it hits Lazarus, then Lazarus gets squished. Okay. If you look here, there's kind of a line that gets created, right? So as you go further and further down, there's less and less that can get squished by that box. You know, the cardboard box is so flimsy that it doesn't really squish anything other than Lazarus. Okay? It doesn't squish other cardboard boxes, nor does it squish anything else. Wooden box is a little stronger, can squish cardboard boxes, but nothing else. So you can use this chart as you're coding to say, okay, what does my thing need to do? Okay, you can just use the Squish Chart. But I think that's what I coded. Hopefully that's what I coded. If we actually play the game now, what we'll notice is that, well, wait, I'm still just getting cardboard and wooden boxes. I'm not getting stone boxes or metal boxes. So what's the reason? Anybody know? Yeah. Yeah, the code's not there. We created the objects, but we didn't. In the controller, we have to put the creation code. Remember, it's the controller's job to tell us whether or not. Here in the step event, the step event is getting really ugly. Okay. All right, so far what we're doing, just in English, first of all, we count up the number of standing Lazarus. We want to make sure there's only one of those. And then we count up the number of falling boxes. We made this object called the falling box parent. And this one will be the parent of all the falling boxes. So if we make sure all the falling boxes are children of falling box parent, then it will count up the number of all the falling boxes regardless of what type they are. So then we say, okay, if Lazarus is equal to 1 and the number of falling boxes is equal to 0 or maybe less than 0, well, we only have two choices, 0 and 1. We want to add two more choices. So I'm going to hit this plus sign twice to create a few more options. We're going to say 2 and then 3. Again, we're storing that in a variable called choice. I'm going to make that variable temporary. So it will randomly choose a number between 0 and 3 inclusive. And then we just ask a series of questions. We say, if choice is equal to 0, then make a falling cardboard box right above Lazarus's head, just off screen. That's what I'm saying in English there. If the choice is equal to 1, then we make a wood box. So hopefully you can see the pattern by now. But again, the pattern is we ask the question, what's the variable? Well, the variable is choice, the one that we generated. So if choice is equal to 2, well, let's call that metal box. We do a create instance. That's this light bulb thing. Drag that off to the right of the if statement so that it controls it. And here, instead of typing these in, please choose them from the list because a lot of people mistype this. We're doing a falling metal box. And again, the spelling is super important here. You misspell this and it will crash. Pick it from the list if you can, object last stand. But we want to put it right above his head, so we say .x. That will move the box over right above Laz's head. And then we want it to be just off the top of the screen, so you don't see it kind of wink into existence at the top. Make sure not to click relative here. They're not relative. These are absolute positions. Okay. So now we have metal boxes. Now the last one is the stone boxes. So again, drag this last if statement underneath the one we just did. And again, we're just asking if the choice is equal to 3 this time. So 3 is going to be our number for our falling stone box. So we're going to create an instance of that. We're going to make a falling stone box. This part doesn't change. Object Laz stand.x. So that would be right over Laz's head. And then this would be just off screen. Just above the screen. And that's it. So let's see if we get a variety of different kind of boxes. Oh, we got a stone box right away. 2 stone boxes. Stone, stone. This is not looking good. Ooh, that's good. And what we're trying to ensure that the right kind of boxes are squishing the right things. Like wood squishes cardboard, but stone squishes everything. Here with cardboard, let's see, this is stone. That should squish it. This should not squish it. It doesn't. Yeah, so looks like according to my Squish chart, I've got it correct. Boxes of like type are stacking on top of each other. But see how that stone just killed everything? Yeah. And so this game gets really complicated relatively quickly. Okay. Yay. Okay. So that's what you should have. That's the behavior you should have once you have this gargantuan. I can't even zoom out far enough, but that's our controller object right now. There's probably a more efficient way of doing this, certainly, but I can't think of one right now. So that's the way we're doing it, I guess, for now. Yeah. So I'm going to stop there for a while.